Hello, and welcome to this week's Career Chat. I am Shannon Crooks, the Librarian 3 at the Hillcrest Heights branch. And today we have a special guest. His name is Chef Kenneth Clay, and he's going to tell us all about his career as a chef. As always, we have young people and adults watching. I try to give tips throughout the career chat to help you with your career journey. We hope that this career chat inspires you to look into being a chef or learning more about it. And each and every week on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock, we have a new person on career chat exploring their careers. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, welcome, Kenneth. How are you?
I'm doing well, Shannon. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, no problem. We're glad you're here. So the first question I want to ask you is, what is a chef? I know a lot of people probably know what it is, but some viewers may not. And what are your jobs, duties, and responsibilities?
Well, a chef is, we just don't only cook. We also manage and, we run, well, whether you're working in a restaurant or a hospital or your own business, you're managing the kitchen. You're managing the staff. You're creating menus. You're training your staff. You're handling all the call centers. So a lot of people, they just look at being a chef. We're just creating like delicious, beautiful food, which we do. But it's much more that goes along with being a chef. It's a lot of it's a lot of management as well.
Okay. Can you tilt your camera just a little bit so we can see you a little bit better? Yeah, that's much better. Okay, good. So how long have you been working as a chef?
Wow, I've been a chef for 30, 36 years now.
Oh, wow, 36 years?
Yeah,
That is a long time.
yeah,
Wow. So, how did you get interested in becoming a chef? Because that's a long time. It seems like you
yeah. I
ran
got the
with
bug. I got the bug pretty early. I know subconsciously as a kid. Well, my mom used to. My mom was a gourmet cook, so my mom always cooked these delicious meals. She had cookbooks and all kinds of books in the house, and my sister and I, Marcia, we would like just scan the cookbooks, read the cookbooks every day, looking at the photos.
it.
And then my
Mhm.
mom belonged to this book club, and every so they would rotate the book club meetings. And so when it came time for the meeting to come to our house, mom would make up all these delicious, fancy meals from her cookbooks.
Hmm.
And so, like growing up as a kid, I was eating, we were eating, gourmet meals from mom. Not every day, but she cooked a lot, and then
Hmm.
she also experimented a lot. Then also, my uncle was a chef,
Okay.
so he would come over the house, and any big event we would have, a graduation or whatever, he would help my mom in the kitchen, and he's making these beautiful platters, and I'm watching. And then my neighbor, my next door neighbor, he was a chef,
Hmm.
and he would come over the house and cook with my mom, and then another neighbor up the street, he was a chef as well. So I think as a kid, well, I know as a kid subconsciously, like even though I didn't, when I'm 11, 12 years old, I didn't want to be a chef at that age. I think subconsciously it was always kind of in the back of my mind. And
Hmm.
then I just started working. I started working in a fast food restaurant when I was in high school.
Hmm.
Um, and then a coworker of mine had got a job at a restaurant downtown down at Capitol Hill, yeah, Capitol Hill, DC.
Hmm.
She told me that the chef was looking for some more cooks, and she asked me, was I interested? I said, yeah, and I applied for the job, and they hired me, and I just started going from there.
Wow. So, again, viewers, another networking situation. So, if you are working right now, such as Chef Clay when he was younger, and just had a conversation with someone and they said, hey, there's an opportunity here. Maybe you want to check it out, see if you want to do it. get more experience. Say yes to those opportunities, even if you think it's not something that you initially want to do. Just try it out, see. And as you can see, Chef Clay turned it into a career, a 36-year-long career. And so the same thing could happen for you. So always look for opportunities to network. So, Chef Clay, what was your educational path from high school to where you are now?
Okay, so once I got that first restaurant job on Capitol Hill, a restaurant called Bull Feathers,
Hmm.
um, I decided to go to culinary school when I was 18 years old. So
Wow.
I went to culinary school, and I couldn't afford to go to one of the top schools around the country. You know, the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America up in New York. But
Hmm.
they had a culinary school in D.C. at the time, and so I enrolled at the school in D.C. It was a 2-year program, and I tell people all the time, I didn't go to one of the big culinary schools, but I I know for a fact that I took advantage of the situation because I had a lot of good chefs that that instructed me, and we didn't have one campus where we trained at. We trained all over the city, and one of our locations was the French Embassy.
Wow.
So for like 6 months, we got to work in the French Embassy, and I remember I got a chance to work with one of the pioneers in modern American cuisine.
Mm.
He's passed away since then, but his name is John Louis Paladin, and he was you guys he's definitely Googleable. Definitely Google him, but he was one of the pioneers of what they called at the time back in the 80s, New American cuisine. He was like one of the first chefs who him and Wolfgang Puck, they kind of like put uh, fine dining and good cuisine on the maps in America.
Wow, that is awesome. That's a cool experience. Viewers, get again, looking at schools, I know, you start looking at schools and you say, I want to go to the top school or the most popular school or the most expensive schools. Sometimes right here in the DC, Maryland area, there may be a school or a program that can also open you up to opportunities that you never thought you would have, and also have you working alongside some of the pioneers, such as the ones that Chef Clay has talked to us about. So that's awesome for you to have that experience. And then you said you started school at 18. So, um, you started right after high school. So how did you like know, hey, I want to go to culinary arts school. I don't want to look into a traditional 4-year college.
I think for me, I was tired of I was tired of school at the time.
Mhm.
And once I graduated from high school, I knew I didn't want to go to college, but I also knew that I had to find something I had to find a career, and I had to find a career that paid me well as well, that
Yep,
I
we
can make a
all
living. Yeah,
hey.
yeah, that I can make a living off of, and
Mhm.
I had a chance to work at the post office. It's so funny. I remember, like, I had a chance to work at the post office. It was between the post office and the first restaurant job, and
Mhm.
with the help of my mom did not want me to work at the post office, so I decided to work at the restaurant. And then, once I got into the restaurant, I was a rookie. I started on the salad station, the pantry, making salads, and then I
Mhm.
moved around to different stations. And then I would say like in 3 months, I kind of knew, like I just fell in love with it, and you know, it was fun. It was exciting. I tell people all the time, being a chef is not for everybody, and it's hard work. It takes a lot of
Mhm.
dedication, and as a young kid, as a young teenager, young adult, I liked it. And then once I went to culinary school and I was still working at the same time, I just fell in love with it, and I
Mhm.
just continued to grow and grow.
Wow. Yeah, so young people, if you are working a summer job, each time you work a summer job, try to look for different experiences and then see if maybe one of these experiences could be something you could turn into a career at some point. I know a lot of times when I was a kid, I would, do different summer programs and I would ask myself, hey, is this something that I could maybe see myself doing in the future? I know in this area, they have a lot of summer youth programs, summer employment programs run by, the county. And so these kids have the opportunity each summer to work at a different place. So it's an opportunity for you as a young person to see if this is something you want to do, talk more with the people working there, and just get more guidance about careers. So, Chef Clay, how much time did you invest into getting to where you are?
You know, being a chef, and especially, well, actually today too, if you're a new chef starting out, you know, it's not. I would always tell people it's not when you're trying to grow and broaden your career as a chef and be creative, especially in the beginning. It wasn't a job where you can just go home and forget about it. Meaning that back then there wasn't any internet. There was no internet, but I did my research from magazines, cookbooks, going out to different restaurants. Let me tell you this: I would go out on a date, and we would be downtown. The young lady I was with at the time, and we're walking around down Georgetown. We'll go to the movies, and we're walking around, and we would walk past all these nice restaurants, and I would stop and I would look at the menu and I would jot down, like write down on a little pad some of the menu items.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is what I do. I'm looking at the menu. I'm looking at the menu, and I just I just did a lot of research. It takes a lot of research to just become to be a better chef, and a lot of train, a lot of practicing. Some of the stuff you make isn't going to be good, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of practicing, a lot of mistakes, some bad dishes. A little too much of this in one dish, too much of that in one dish, too much salt or whatever. But it's a lot of practice, and then also, I was able to work with a lot of good chefs when I was young, and they took me under their wing, and they taught me a lot as well, and I listened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so viewers practice. Yeah, working with people, I can't emphasize it enough. If you want to be a chef, you have to practice. Right now, you probably, if you're a young person, maybe your mom or your dad or a relative is fixing your meals. Maybe you want to say to them, hey, can I help you out with dinner tonight? Or can, I help you prep lunch and just get tips from them. And then like Chef Clay said, when he went to restaurants, he was looking at the menus saying, oh, what is this? Or what is that? Or maybe I need to go home and look up this or that recipe and try it out for myself and see if I can do it. Really, a lot of careers require a lot of research. So if you can get out there and try to see what's out there, if you can work alongside with someone, those are ways you can get started with careers. So, Chef Clay, what advice do you have for someone wanting to do what you do? You gave a couple of tips. So, what else can people do?
I mean, I would definitely would say like this, the career of a chef, you have to like to cook. One, like I mean, I think it's just if you don't like to cook and you just want to be a chef, I mean, you're just not going to be a really good chef. You have to make sure it's what you want to do, because you're cooking every day. You're
Mhm.
cooking every day. Also, just just practice and listen to your supervisors or your chefs, and also listen to the experienced cooks that you're working next to. Watch them and learn. And like I also said, research and watch video. Nowadays it's so much easier now because you got the internet, you got YouTube, all these different recipes and chefs, and you got the television, the Food Channel Network, and all these different areas that you can learn. And it's just study the craft. That's number one.
hmm Yeah, YouTube and the Food Channel, I watch some of those too, and they give all the ingredients. They go step by step. You can follow along if you want to, and try it out. You can kind of put your own twist or spin on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that those are great ways for people to get started at home. So, what obstacles did you face in the pursuit of your profession?
Um, I think the hardest obstacle was when I became when I was promoted to be a chef. Um, so I was promoted to be a sous chef at first
Mhm,
at a hotel I was working at, and a sous chef is it's a French word for assistant chef.
mhm,
Okay, and I was young. I was 20 years old, 21 years old, and I would say the hardest obstacle was managing and being in charge of people twice my age,
mm,
and having to have the courage and not be afraid to direct them and to let them know when they was doing something incorrect. You know what I mean? That was a challenge at first, and it is a lot of pressure being a chef, especially once you get promoted. I got promoted to executive chef when I was 22 years old, and
wow,
you know it's a lot of pressure sometimes. You're dealing with. I mean, you got food critics coming in the restaurant. You got VIP clientele coming in, and you know you're making food for almost 600, 700 people a night, and out of those 700 people, everyone's not going to like their dish. You know what I mean? And you have to have thick skin.
mhm.
And if someone doesn't like something, you just gotta shake it off and just make sure it's correct next time.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot of communication skills, not only with the customers that come in and enjoy the food, but you also talked about food critics who are judging probably every aspect of the meal, from probably presentation to taste, to execution. So that is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it
Mm.
is.
So the food critics, do they come to regular restaurants too? How does that work?
I mean, they come in, they don't let you know, like you don't know they're in there. But we used to have people who knew them that worked in the restaurant, so we would get the heads up.
Mhm,
And yeah, they'll come in and they'll come in and critique your restaurant. Or sometimes they do let you know ahead of time that they're
mhm.
going to come in a couple times, like the week of, but you just don't know what days they're there or they're going to come. And
Wow.
yeah, you just have to be on point, make sure everything is perfect. And you want to do that for your regular customers as well, but
Mhm.
for the food critic, you want to just make sure everything is extra.
So so the food critics, are they writing articles about the restaurant, or how do they, when they do their critique, where is it going after they critique it?
Well, they'll come in, like I said, they'll come in 2 or 3 times out of the week, and then they'll write a whole review on the restaurant from the service, from the second they walk in the restaurant, from the front door, from the hostess to the service to the drinks they order, and then of course the food.
Mm.
And then they'll write a full review, and it'll be in the magazine or these days on the internet or in the newspaper, and yeah.
Wow. So have you ever gotten any bad reviews from a critic?
I've been fortunate. I haven't got any bad reviews. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Even though I'm not in restaurants now, I have my own business now, but I still don't want to get any bad reviews.
Oh, okay. So what type of restaurant business do you have?
Well, I've retired from the actual restaurant industry about 3 years ago, and I
Okay.
started my own company. It's called Chef Kenneth Clay LLC, and it's a catering company. But I also do I do special events as well. I've done, well, pre-COVID, these days, I'm not doing a whole lot of extra catering, but pre-COVID, the last couple of years, I've catered movie shoots and
Mm,
um, commercial shoots, and I've done, a lot of special events and movie premieres,
mm.
and then also just, regular catering, weddings and birthday parties, and also a lot of office catering, like lunch events, dinner events, and then also contract catering with the government as well.
Okay, so you talked about things have changed since COVID. So how has COVID impacted your business, your catering business?
Um, it's just like, I'm sure you guys probably heard about how the restaurant industry has been impacted. I still have a lot of friends that work in the restaurant industry, and I'm in touch with them. Plus, I stay in tune with what's going on with the industry. At least 50% of my revenue has been taken since COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How did you adjust to that? Because that's huge.
You don't
That
spend you don't spend as much. You spend less money. No,
Wow.
I adjusted. I'm still blessed to have other revenue sources coming in, and
Hmm.
then also I'm still doing catering events, not nearly as much as I have been doing, but I still do catering events, and then I also started on Friday nights. I just started doing my curbside pickup from my kitchen. I do meals on Friday nights, and like I'll do like my menu. I called it Chef Kenny's late summer classics,
Okay.
and like I'm doing like Peruvian chicken, and I'm doing chicken wings with this mumbo jerk Asian barbecue glaze, and I'm doing a pan roasted salmon,
I'm
and
getting
also
hungry right now.
also like a delicious roasted beet and a goat cheese salad, and
Mhm.
it's all pickup, curbside pickup from the kitchen. You pull up to the kitchen, and we run the food to your car, and you order ahead of time, and
Mhm.
yeah, so you got it these days. You have to get creative a little bit because it's just not the same.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, I don't see it being the same for a while, especially in our industry, because it's just a lot of people aren't having big events.
Mhm. Mhm.
And actually, is the events people are having is all individually boxed up. Like you're having a luncheon of 100 people, each lunch is boxed up in a to-go box.
Mm.
It's no more buffets. And
Mhm.
so it's a lot of adjustment.
Mm. So, adults, if you're listening, maybe you have your own business. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you work for a company or an industry and you see that, maybe you guys have hit a roadblock. Like Chef said, you have to be creative, think outside of the box, figure out a way to still get your goals accomplished as an organization more creatively, a different route. We're all taking different routes. So, thank you for sharing that with us, Chef. So the next question is, what advice do you have for people? Oh, I asked that already. Never mind. I'm trying to go down my questions. It's just so interesting. The next question is, how can young people, find volunteer opportunities or, part-time jobs in the chef field or in the restaurant field?
Um, in the restaurant field, unfortunately, right now with COVID, is a lot of people aren't hiring. But there are people. Let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
People are hiring, but not as much as pre-COVID. And I would just, if you're interested in the field, I would definitely just, keep searching. Like I ran across something today, just popped up on our feed. The National Harbor is hiring right now.
Mhm.
Just have to keep your eyes open and stay alert. And then, some chefs like myself, when we get busier, we need help. We need help. And you can keep your eye out for that. Keep your ear open for those kind of opportunities as well.
Mhm.
You know.
Is there, any opportunities for people to just do volunteer work in the restaurant industry?
Yeah, it sure is. There's a lot of apprenticeship. You just have to, you got to put the legwork in, and call around, or just go down, go through some different restaurants and talk to the chef.
Hmm.
Talk to the chef and see if they need help.
Great. So, viewers, a lot of people are eating out. You're probably eating out. Maybe are attracted to a certain type of restaurant and think that's the place you want to work. See if they have some volunteer opportunities if they're not hiring right now. Maybe they have something that you can do just so you can kind of observe the industry, see if it's something of interest to you. Maybe eventually a volunteer opportunity could lead to employment. You just never know.
Yeah.
So what are some skills that young people and adults should think about acquiring to apply to all career fields?
You mean skills as far as being a chef? And I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Yeah, so everybody needs different types of skills. So what are some skills people need to apply to all career fields? So like usually people say like communication, that's one you've talked about earlier. You have to communicate with critics, food critics, you have to communicate with coworkers, supervisors. What are some other skills people need?
I mean, I think in this, in my industry, you definitely have to have to do your research. I would definitely practice on your knife skills. On your knife skills. They got, like I said earlier, there's so many different videos you can watch and everything,
Mhm.
and books you could pick up. Um, Practice on your knife skills, and just practice and cook. And you're going to make mistakes, but just keep trying. Cook dinner for your family. Uh, Cook dinner for your family, and help mommy cook and help grandma cook and watch them, and just soak it all in.
Yeah, I've noticed on some of my social media accounts, some of my friends are having their kids have certain nights where they cook. The kids are the ones that cook for the parents. So they prepare the meal, they set up the table. The parents are overseeing it, but I notice that's happening more and more now. And that's really a life skill. People don't usually think about life skills, teaching their kids life skills, early on, but it's important, teaching them how to cook, teaching them how to clean, teaching them how to, understand finances. So parents, if you're listening, it's time to start with life skills. Cooking could be one that you could start with first because I think it's one of the easier ones. Maybe you have them set the table the first couple of times. Maybe you have them just observe you preparing. Maybe you have them, prep the food, cut up the vegetables. You just can start now. You don't have to wait until, they become teenagers or young adults. Life skills really can start early. So thank you for that, Chef. The next question is, what resources or recommendations do you have for people who want to pursue a career in the restaurant industry or catering business?
Definitely cookbooks, even though a lot of people aren't doesn't seem to be reading regular hard. But hey, like myself, I'm an avid reader, but I download books on my phone and my computer. So definitely books. Um, just like I said earlier, the videos, the TV shows.
Mhm.
A lot of television shows with cooking on TV now. Like constantly, they have at least three. I have at least four channels on my cable on my cable television. So definitely those areas.
Yes, and cookbooks are one of the top books that we check out to people in our library system. We keep
Oh,
track
really?
of what people check out, and the cookbooks are like number one. So we pride ourselves in our cookbook selection. All the branches have various amounts of cookbooks. I know the branch that I work at has almost a whole area of just cookbooks, from baking to healthy choices, you name it, we got it with cookbooks. So check us out if you haven't. We also offer ebooks as well to check out. Next question is, what comments do you have about the industry that people just entering it may want to know?
Just know that it's it definitely is a fast-paced industry. It's exciting. You know, it's hard to explain. It's exhilarating because you're you're constantly going. It's I tell people all the time, it's a little stressful at times, but I think every job can be stressful at times. Not just being a chef, but it's rewarding also because I've worked, like speaking for myself, I've worked in busy restaurants. I work right next door to the Verizon Center
Wow.
downtown on 7th Street, the Plaza Gallery Place. I opened that restaurant and I was a chef there for 10 years. And so with
Mhm.
that being said, imagine before the Wizards basketball game or the Capitals hockey game, the amount of people that will come in to eat before the game. And it's I always called it I always called it controlled chaos
Mhm.
because it's so busy and it's so hectic. At the same time, it's controlled. If you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So just know that it's a lot of it's pressure. It's
Mhm.
pressure with this in this industry, but once you get in it and you have your and you can do it and you're confident and your staff is trained and everyone's on the same page, it's definitely rewarding. Like you leave. I remember leaving those busy shifts, those busy days after we did almost $100,000 in one day in sales, and just
Wow.
and just, and
That's
just
a lot.
yeah, and just walking out the door and just being just feeling good about myself and about my staff, and it's
Mhm.
very rewarding. But at the same time, it's definitely exhilarating and a fast-paced industry. Unless you're working for a fine dining restaurant where the pace is a little more casual. But if you're in that industry, is you also deal with the stress of making sure everything is pristine and perfect, and so yeah.
Wow. So compare and contrast, working in fine dining versus working in a restaurant that's not quite fine dining.
Um, yeah, like I said, I've worked in fine dining restaurants. I was classically trained in fine dining. It's definitely a slower pace.
Mhm.
You're still when I say slower pace, meaning like you're not gonna have 700 people come in at 5 o'clock before an event.
Mhm.
So you don't have that kind of rush coming in, but it's more of a precise plating and cooking of the dishes.
Mhm.
That's the difference. Making sure the plates are immaculately presented. Everything is, and not that we wasn't doing that at casual restaurants, but at fine dining restaurants, it's just definitely a step up on the plating and just the whole presentation of the food.
Mm.
Yeah, and then with me working in both, both environments, I was able to, we were able to combine that fine dining with our casual dining,
Mm-hmm.
um, to make it, you know what I mean, to make it work and make it almost just as by going to a casual restaurant. And to be honest with you, fine dining restaurants have kind of become a little obsolete right
Why? Why? That's interesting.
now. Yeah, because I think people, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people, not many people are able to go out to a restaurant and spend $300 or $400 per person, or,
Wow.
or a lot of people don't want to spend.
Yeah,
it, you know,
that's a car note right there. That's
yeah,
expensive.
and so I think with that being said, and then because of the casual dining experience, you're going to get a, the food is going to be just as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it's gone altogether, but if you look around the city, and especially in DC, where the restaurant scene has definitely changed over the years since I've been out,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's a lot more you know, casual restaurants coming up more than fine dining.
Hmm. That's interesting. But when you're in culinary arts school, do they train you on both fine dining and casual dining, or do you have like a specific route you go when you're in school?
Yeah, but in school it's more it was more classical training, like fine dining training. You go through the French, basically the French training method, and learning all the terms and all the basics, and that's what the culinary schools they teach you. And then once you graduate, um, people don't like a lot of people don't even know, like they think as soon as you graduate from culinary school, like you're going to be a chef, like the second you get your first job.
Mm.
Once you graduate culinary school, you get a job in a restaurant, you're gonna be a cook. Yeah,
Oh,
you have to, once you're a cook, and then you work your way up to be a chef.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that works. Unless you're very like really lucky to be a chef right out of culinary school, which doesn't happen a lot. Not directly out of culinary.
Yeah, thank you for clearing up that misconception because I was thinking the same thing. Hey, I've been to school to be a chef, now I'm a chef, but you have to work your way up. It takes experience. And then a lot of people go to these restaurants with high expectations, like you were saying, the critics come in and then customers, longtime customers. I guess you have to understand, the dynamics of the business before you can say, hey, I'm managing the entire kitchen, all the staff. I'm making sure the menu is up to par, checking the food that comes in. So you have to have some experience. So um most professions, young people, you have to work your way up. So, you can go to school for whatever it is you choose, but 9 times out of 10, you got to go in and understand, the environment, understand your coworkers. If there's customers involved, understand your customer base, and then work your way up to the top. So thank you
Yeah,
for
it's so funny because I had to, excuse me, I had to break a lot of hearts when culinary school graduates would come in and apply for jobs and automatically think that they will become a chef. I'm like, yeah, that's we're gonna pump the brakes, and I'm gonna put you on this station and this station, and then we'll see.
that. Yeah, they don't well, in college, I'm thinking back to when I went to college, they didn't really stress, hey, you got to work your way up. They just say, okay, this is what you're learning, this is the profession, but they didn't really explain what it was to be in the work environment. I think that's so important for young people to understand that you've got to learn, observe, work with people first, and then make your way up. You can't just get a degree and say, hey, I'm on top now.
Exactly.
So that's good to point out. Do you enjoy what you do? I think you enjoy it from what you've told me, but let's hear from you.
I love my career. I love what I do, and like I'm not just saying that to be saying it because I'm doing this interview with you guys. I've always I tell people because I do a lot of well, COVID, of course, but I've done a lot of career days at the local. I'm not sure if my sister told you our mom was a teacher, and we have
Okay.
a lot of yeah, a lot of cousins and a lot of cousins and who were in the system as well, principals and teachers. So I did a lot of career days on my career,
Mm-hmm.
um, and also I teach cooking. I teach cooking classes as well,
Okay.
and yeah, and with that being said, I always tell people that I lucked up in finding a career that I fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
I love cooking.
Awesome.
I love cooking. I think about it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it night and day. It's just part of what I do, and I've been fortunate. And I tell people all the time, I just been fortunate to find a career that I really enjoy because a lot of people really can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep, that is so true. I think, we work or go to work every day, but a lot of us can't say, "Hey, I love going to work. I love working with my coworkers." And like you said, I think about it night and day. A lot of people can't say that. So, viewers, I hope you're listening. Young people, the opportunity is now. You have plenty of time to explore different careers, talk to people. You're watching this career chat, so that's a good first step. You can explore. Now's the time to explore. Take advantage of any type of volunteer opportunities, internships, talk to your teachers, your parents, relatives, see what's out there, learn about different careers. Then, when you graduate high school, go to college possibly, or go to a trade school, you know exactly what you're going for. You're excited about it because you've done your research, maybe you've gotten some experience in it. So just now's the time. Older people, adults, it's not too late. I've changed careers. I used to be a social worker, now I'm a librarian. But during my time as a social worker, I was constantly thinking about, okay, what else do I want to do? Is there anything else I want to do? I enjoy being a social worker, but there's other things I want to do. I love reading, so I combined the two, and now I'm a librarian. So it's not too late for you as well. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can go back to school if there's some type of certification or educational program required. You can volunteer somewhere to see if a particular career is of interest to you. You can do so many things, even as an adult. So don't feel like, hey, I'm at the end of my road. I don't like what I do, but I don't know how to change careers. You can. Just see what's out there.
No, you're right because with that being said, you're absolutely right. There's so many people in the industry that changed careers and became chefs and became cooks, so many people. And
Hmm.
I mean, when I say a lot, when I was in the restaurant industry and actually even in the kitchen now that I'm using a shared kitchen downtown in DC, and
Hmm.
it's different companies. We all share a really big kitchen. I want to say almost maybe 30% of the people when they were with their companies, they had a different career and decided to do something, to become a chef.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was, I finished my graduate school program. This is a second master's for me. And while in the program, we had to go up to the school because I went to school online, and the school is in Syracuse, New York. So we had to go up there for a weekend. And I'll never forget, the professor said to everyone, most of the time, you're going to change careers as an adult 3 times, in your lifetime. And I was like, 3 times? I was like, this is my second time. So there's a possibility for a third time. And so that just stuck with me, and it still sticks with me. I don't know if I'll move on to something else, but the fact that he even opened our eyes to the possibility that we can look beyond what we're doing now, to always keep searching and seeking other opportunities. And so hopefully our viewers are doing that, because it's so important not to feel boxed in. And right now with COVID, there's going to be huge opportunities for people if they want to start their own business, if they want to work with other people, if they want to create something that's never been created before, because COVID has creating an opportunity to do something innovative, it can happen. So never feel boxed in. I think sometimes that, we do the same thing every day and we don't stop to look around and see what's out there.
Yeah, that's very true.
hmm So when you first started your training to be a chef, where did you think you would be? Did you think you would have your own business or did you think you'd be doing something else?
When I first started, I didn't think I would have my own business. I really didn't want my own business because
Mhm,
I was so in tune to the restaurant industry, and um, I wasn't thinking, well, I wasn't thinking about having to start my own business. And then I changed my mind about 5 years ago, and I just decided that all the delicious food that I made for all the different restaurants that I worked for all my life, that I would do it for myself. And I also realized that you know I wanted to be my own boss.
mhm,
I wanted
mhm,
to be my own boss, and I wanted to I wanted to keep some of the money.
mhm, mhm.
It took me a while later on in my career, but it's never too late. Yeah, I just decided it was time, and I'm very glad I made that decision. Very glad.
Yeah, I think, when we work years, for an organization or a company, we sometimes maybe have in the back of our heads, yeah, I want to start my own business similar to this one, but I'm afraid, or I don't have the resources, or I
Yeah,
don't even have the money. I don't know where to start. But, you can do your research. The library is a great place to start. We have several
exactly.
resources for business, help you write your business plan or just to understand the industry that maybe you're trying to get started with. So feel free to check out any of our resources. Right now, we're only doing curbside, so you can reserve your books online and pick them up. But once we open back up, feel free to browse the shelves, talk to the librarian, see what's available, and we'll get you connected with whatever item or resource you need.
That's exactly what I did. I did a lot of research on how to start my business. I knew nothing I didn't know, and I had to research, and it took a lot of hours of research, and I got it done. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, a lot of people I see come in the library, they may want to start their own business and they're just looking, trying to find stuff. And each of our branches have different materials, but really customers sometimes don't understand that they have access to all 19 of our branches. They just need to ask us for the material that they're looking for. We can order it and have it, sent to our particular branch or the particular branch they're at, and then they'll have access. So I'm glad you brought that up. And then on top of that, we have what's called OCLC. So customers can place an order for a book that's in the state of Maryland and have those books sent to the branch that they can check out and then they can bring back. So, opportunities are endless. You just have to ask us. Don't be afraid to ask and approach us at any time. We're here to serve you and get you the resources that you need. You just have to ask and take the first step. So the last question is for me, and that's what are some resources the library offers people who are new to the job market? Maybe you're changing careers or looking for work due to the COVID-19 emergency. So first, you can visit us at our website at pgcmls.info. You can go to our online library, and from there, you will be directed to our jobs and careers section. There's three different areas you can look into. There's Brain Fuse, Career Transitions, and the Learning Express Library. In any one of these, you can have several resources right there at your fingertips. If you're a veteran, there's resources for you. If you're a newly entering college student, there's practice tests. There's also tutorials for basic skills such as math, reading, and writing. If you're on your job search, you can do a career assessment to see which career would best fit you. You can also search for jobs, get resume and cover letter help. And then also there's a live job coach available. on the website as well. Again, thank you, Chef Clay. We enjoyed this episode of Career Chat. You gave us so many good ideas and tips about how to become a chef or just get started in the restaurant industry. Um, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I hope our viewers learned a lot. And yeah, it was just great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, and I enjoy doing volunteer work with the Prince George's County library system. By the way, I've done a lot of different cooking classes for you guys over the years. I'm not sure if
Okay.
you're aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say I've probably done at least 12 to 15 different cooking demonstrations with the libraries.
Wow. Well, we hope you continue to do those. Right now we're virtual, so we hope maybe we can invite you back if you're willing to come and do a virtual maybe cooking class for us. That would be awesome.
I am definitely interested. You guys let me know. I would definitely, and I'm definitely interested.
Okay. Well, we'll get connected with that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And viewers, thank you for joining us today. Join us each and every Wednesday at 3 o'clock for a career chat where we explore a different career. Have a good day, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.